So I've used my Galaxy Watch 6 Classic 47mm for about a week now, just over a week. And in this video I wanted to quickly talk through my early experience of how it's coping, talking about the battery life, just general performance of the watch. So in terms of how I feel about the watch around a week and a half, a bit later, I have to say I'm growing to like the watch even more now. It looks great. It feels great. I know there's lots of questions about the size. I am really liking the size and I'm glad I stuck with the 47mm version. It may be a bit big, but I think it looks, at least for me, it feels good and I like it. The bigger screen offers more viewing real estate and it's easier to navigate, easier to see things. And I think I must say, watch faces on the bigger screen just looks great. Almost any watch faces I'm trying on this watch, they just look really good. And I do obviously prefer my classic analog watch faces, and they look really nice. More so because of the fact there's very little bezel. Crystal sapphire screen, and I think the new higher brightness that this watch comes with, it just really provides a far greater viewing experience on the screen. So you're looking at watch faces, everything's so well detailed. You know, even the little text is very readable, very sharp. And one thing I really like as well is I always prefer my screens to have a deep black, so the black to be dark as possible. Is one weakness of using the TicWatch was because the screen felt a bit grayish and the black wasn't really black. So here I'm really happy. This watch face I'm using isn't exactly all black, it's kind of a greyish looking watch face. But even if I were to use a black screen, which I will do in a second, for a black watch face, it just looks really good. You know, all the text, all the information just really pops out. Fantastic. I've been sleeping with the watch every single sort of night, and so far it's been fine. I'm not finding any discomfort at all, even though it's a bit heavy. But it's absolutely fine for me. There's no problems. It's not any more sort of inconvenient to use, so that's been fine. The rotating bezel in the beginning was a bit stiff, I found, but as times have gone by now and the more I use it, it's kind of feeling normal, or maybe just the way it's supposed to be. So it does. I mean, I know I've seen some people mention that their rotating bezel isn't as responsive. I haven't had any problems with the responsiveness on mine. It's been very good, and it's been keeping up with the UI. So when you move turn your rotating bezel, everything else moves along very nicely. The watch has now gone past the learning pattern phase, so it's now showing obviously the regular battery life. So as I was saying, the watch just looks really good with any watch faces because of the large screen size, and you don't see any bezel. So if I were to change a different watch face, this one, I mean, they just all look so good because you're seeing this whole screen really, and just the design of the watch is so beautiful really. Let's put something like this one on. I mean, I was talking about the deep black, so you can see the black is so dark. Every other text, even the tiny text, they all stand out, like the daily activities text here, whatever. And if you're going through your information, like if I were going in there, and we've already seen all this, but it's really nice. And also like those little counting steps and things like that, they all sort of really nicely show. Whereas in the past, even the Watch 5, those didn't look as good. So I think definitely the new sort of increased brightness has really helped the watch very much. I was saying about the rotating bezel, I find this quite comfortable, very responsive. So if I go into the applications, I mean, I think it sticks keeps up with my sort of rotating movement quite well. So yeah, I have no complaints about this so far. I think it's doing quite well. If I was to read through, I don't know if I have any notifications. Let's see. If I was to read through these notifications, yeah, it's fine. So yeah, and honestly, I have to say, I am really so glad rotating bezel has come back, because I am absolutely loving it. I mean, this is one of the reasons I've said before, I kind of put off from using Watch 5 Pro. Good thing about this bezel is, when you're rotating, I don't rotate like that. I find it comfortable to, if I'm doing something and I am just like, I'm resting my thumb here and just twisting, and it's really nicer to sort of use it this way. Whereas the other one, you can't do that, and you have to sort of just fiddle around with your finger, and then sometimes it wasn't very accurate, you just go all over the place, and it's very difficult to get, sometimes difficult to get to the tile you want or the information you want if you're reading a message or something. So definitely this rotating bezel is the best thing Samsung's done, is to bring it back. I don't know why they even took it off in the first place. It's a special feature that was unique to them, and then they decided to drop it, like Samsung always likes doing crazy things. But anyway, it's back now and it's great. So that's that. Sometimes in terms of the actual performance of the watch, although it's great, I have found it to be sluggish sometimes. Some things load or takes time to load. I don't know, sometimes the Play Store, yeah, if I was to sort of try and go and see if I want to update my apps or something, it's not instant always. It takes, I mean, it was quicker here, but sometimes it takes longer, and it's not because of Wi-Fi connection or anything like that. But sometimes I found it that when you're trying to load something, it can get a bit sluggish. So that's one thing I noticed in the time I've had it so far. Now, the battery life obviously is the big thing. The good news is I'm getting 2 days of use at the moment. So that's definitely, and I'll show you screenshots of that I've got. So, but I'm definitely getting 2 days. And in terms of how my settings are, so I've got most of the stuff enabled. I mean, I haven't sort of disabled anything. So all the sensors are running. I would say Wi-Fi, I've kind of left it off most of the time. Like now, if I look at the settings, you see Wi-Fi is off. Mine is an LTE version, so it's supposed to sort of take more battery, and I've left LTE on auto. So as you can see, LTE is currently on auto, and that's how it's been. What I do during sleep is I put it on airplane mode, and that disables the LTE mode, and I just put on airplane mode, and that's it. I just leave it at that. In terms of battery life during sleep tracking, the good thing is I've noticed it only takes about 6-7% of battery. The other night I charged it 100%, and then I went to sleep. When I woke up, it was on 94%, so that's only what, 6% battery it took. I think I can't complain. You probably can't get any better than that. So I'm very happy with the amount of batteries it is draining during sleep. I had a lot worse on the Pixel Watch. I think it was doing 18 or so percent sometimes, even maybe more. So it's really good. On Watch 5, I think I'd say very similar. It didn't drain much battery overnight. So last night I didn't have much sleep. There's a couple of sleep stages. So, and what I also have is I have the skin temperature running. So during sleep, blood oxygen as well. That's enabled for during sleep. So those things are running. And like I said, the only thing that's not running is really Wi-Fi. Just trying to see the sensors that are running. So heart, as you can see, measures continuously. I've left here, I haven't changed. Stress is the only one I changed to manually. I don't really need to run the stress. Snow detection, can't be bothered with that, so that's off. So that's how my settings are looking like. And that's the kind of battery. So in terms of battery, actual battery usage, I'm saying 2 days. So currently it's only done not much really, to be honest. It's done 7 hours since it was last full charged, and it's showing me I've got 1 day 19 hours left. So as you can see, that will take it to 2 days, but I am getting 2 days, and I'll show some data for that. For example, you can see one here. This one was from the 13th of this, mostly a few days ago. So you can see here 9% left, and it's telling me there's 3 hours and 45 minutes left out of that 9 hours available. But here you can see usage, 2 days and 1 hour used. So that's 2 days, 1 hour, and then you have another 3 hours there. So that's like, I think that's the best you're going to do. And that's with all the sensors running, LTE enabled, to auto, set to auto. But here, see what I'm talking about? The Google Play services. Look at the battery it's taking here, 25%. Don't know if you can see it, sorry. 25% battery is taken here. By far, I mean, there's things like Samsung Care Off and Google Play Store and other things, but it's like miles ahead of the rest of the apps that sort of is using. So that's something we need to figure out as to what's actually going on here. Why is this taking so much battery? A few days ago, this is the one from sometime before. You can see used 23 hours 46 minutes, and I have another 22 hours left. And you can see Google Play services again, top of the list. This is more recent. So I had 1 day 20 hours used, and I had 13 hours and 40 minutes left, and I had 29% available. So I'm kind of happy. But again, if you look at it, the Google Play services again is taking so much better. This is 20.5 here. Next thing down the line, Samsung monitor, 5.3, which is why I'm now setting up the blood pressure monitor. So that's the thing about the battery life on this watch. The battery life, it's definitely 2 days. And again, I haven't, other than settings and things like that, I haven't really extensively done some light exercises, light tracking, and just mainly been updating apps, installing apps, that sort of stuff. And what's Samsung saying here? It's asking me to send the devices back for the trade-in. So I traded this, for this watch, I traded the old Galaxy Watch 4, which was a 40mm one, I think, with lying in the house. I got £115 for it, so I think I was quite happy. £15 or £110, something like that. So I was quite happy. So that's going back. Got to send the watch back. Same thing for the Fold. I got a decent trade-in deal for the Fold as well. Trading in Fold 3. My early impression of having used this watch for just over a week. I can't complain at all. I'm really liking it. The design is great, like I've always said. Just how classy this watch looks. Look at it. So in the first week of ownership, I have kind of tried most of the functions. I've made several calls on this, both on Bluetooth and on LTE, and I think I made a 5-minute LTE call on LTE. The battery drain wasn't much. I noticed it dropped, I think, about 2% maybe. But it's really good. It's really handy to have. So that, and I've also made some card payment transactions, so contactless payment transactions, and they went really smooth, quick. So that's another thing. So contactless payments, mobile calls, fitness tracking. I'm going to do a GPS walk and try and track that and see how that goes. I haven't done that yet. But all in all, very, very pleased with it so far. And I'm still hopeful once Samsung releases an update regarding the battery, or regarding that Google Play service is eating up so much battery, we could probably easily get maybe 2.5 days, maybe even 3 days if we're lucky, depending on how that works out. But it is currently eating up and draining a lot of battery for some unknown reasons. I don't know what it's doing. Obviously, it's probably something to do with the Wear OS 4.0, but it just seems very excessive to drain that amount of battery when it's not have to do this before. So that's that. If you have any questions about anything you want to know about the watch or anything else, or even Watch 5. I will do a comparison of Watch 5 Pro and this one, possibly along with TicWatch 5 Pro as well, and see how they all cope next to each other. But that's all I had to kind of share in this video. I hope this has been useful, and yeah, do let me know if you have any questions and I'll try and answer them for you. Thank you. Bye bye.